what I'm saying in these things are regular ideas that a lot of people have, frankly. You know, if you sum them up and categorize them, yeah, you can say these are radical, quote unquote. Boosters, what we call folks that steal stuff from the store and sell it in the neighborhood for cheaper prices. Having been a broke rapper for a while that as a job requirement had to stay fly, I've had to deal with a lot of boosters in my life. At one particular time, most boosters that I knew of were, or maybe all of them that I knew, were women. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but that's just what I ran into. But they were also villainized. In order to villainize this group of folks for doing the illegal business that they do, you have to ignore the rest of the way the world works. We have an economic system that's built on theft, and that also necessitates poverty. So if you have a system that necessitates poverty, it also necessitates illegal business for people to survive. If you have a marketing strategy for products where the inspiration comes from Black folks and communities of color and other communities that are in the working class that also don't have money to buy these things once they're sold back to them, this is what you have. And to me, it was to make a film in that world caused a lot of interesting reflections. For me, I like to get into the details of life, to like be in the moment. Like, what am I wearing? What am I, what's on? This is my grandfather's things that was given to people in the army, whatever. But, all these things, I want to get into the details, because when I don't, then everything is everything, and it gets really depressing and stuff. So getting into the details of things, you then start thinking about the things, right? So, and they are made of other things. They're made of people's time. What I am talking about is the idea that we need a movement in which we can actually affect power. Power under capitalism comes from capital. It's right there in the name. And the working class creates the capital. And one way we have to have a say in what's going on immediately is through creating a mass militant radical labor movement, one that can use the withholding of labor as a tactic and strategy to hold capital at bay and demand the policy changes that we want. Art, to be interesting, has to be driven by passion. And it has to be driven by a passion for something other than making art. If you're an artist and your main passion is making art, then that's like talking to someone whose main passion is talking, right? It gets boring really quick, even though they're really good technically at it. So my passion guides my aesthetic choices. And my aesthetic choices aren't just to get these ideas out. They're about the experience along the way. But the experience along the way adds up to something. And my politics also makes me want you to engage with the work in a certain way. It makes me want you to feel it in a certain way as it's happening, because the piece of art is meant to push people into thinking about what they are taking in. It's for them to know that this is a thing that's being made. You're going to see some seams in this. You're gonna understand that somebody, a bunch of people, hundreds of people, are doing something right now. And so with that, it makes you step back a little bit, but then it's also my job to pull you in while it's doing that. So that comes with huge swaths of color and the rhythm of how it comes in to make you feel something viscerally, right? The rhythm of how it's edited, the the combination of grounded, real emotions with imagination of things that can happen. The way the camera is moving and you feel or see things going past you, the music and how we're doing it, where I'm not just going to play the sad violins when someone's supposed to be sad, because then that's the language that you've already seen, so you know that you go on automatic. I want people to kind of be on their toes while they're looking at this and engage with it as a piece of art. And it's not just a virtual experience, but it is that too. So, that's also why I'm dealing, part of that is dealing with different textures, miniatures, stop motion, things that you can feel. We did so many things just in camera because I think it makes you engage with that. But I also, while you're engaging in a different way, I have to, basically just, what I'm saying in these things are regular ideas that a lot of people have, frankly. If you sum them up and categorize them, yeah, you can say these are radical, quote unquote. It's funny with Sorry to Bother You, my last movie, a lot of people were like, hey, it's weird. My Republican parents came with me and I was just ready for the argument, but they agreed with it, right? Because and forgive me, I don't know a lot about Canadian politics, so I'm talking about US stuff. But a lot of the MAGA folks got tricked into thinking that Trump was some sort of class traitor against the ruling class, and that he was going to do all this stuff for the working class. So all of those folks, they agree with those sentiments in general. And in the US, most people don't vote. And it's not because they're apathetic. It's because they're to the left of the Democratic Party. And most people that voted for Democrats are also to the left of the Democratic Party, but hold their nose and vote. What's more interesting is that Hollywood norm has kept class struggle out of film for so long. And so I think when people see my films, they see something, while at the same time it's more fantastical and built to be an amusement park ride. They see something that is more real than most of the stuff they see. There are people in all these industries. I think most people want a different world. But many of us just feel it'll never happen, right? So we haven't seen a movement that we think could win. And some of that is, because maybe the movements aren't big enough, but some of that is also, due to the left, even not even just the liberal left, but the radical left as well. For the since the beginning of the 60s, the new left, having run away from class struggle and focused on spectacle. So everybody, including those in the movement, are like, how the hell is this going to do anything? Right? That's the secret thing that people are like, okay, we got 2 million people on the street. What does this mean? And unless it's a strike that's actually stopping profits, it doesn't have much leverage, right? The old thing used to be, when I would try to get more money put into my projects when I was doing music, was like, oh, I agree with you, but they're never going to let me put more money into this. And it wasn't said to be because of politics. It was said to be because this stuff doesn't sell. Well, Sorry to Bother You made many, many times its production budget. So not just at the box office, but afterward, and streaming deals and all that kind of stuff, and in DVD and Blu-ray. So there's that can't be said in combination with people wanting to see something different. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, he told me about how when they were making the video for Sleep Now in the Fire, the idea was they were going to have Michael Moore film them on Wall Street. They were going to play loud and get arrested, and that was the video. So they played loud, boom, nothing happened. Some cops were looking and radioing. They played again, security door goes down. They play the third time and they start hearing this sound going, rah, 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 rah. And they see that a few blocks away, it's a horde of people in suits. As they get closer, they can hear what that crowd of people in suits are saying. And they're saying, suits for rage, suits for rage. The contradiction is said in the chant, which is they're acknowledging their suits, they work on Wall Street, but they like this revolutionary music. And it's for that same reason. People are like, they haven't seen a movement that they think can win, and they're like, I got a college degree, I got to get a job, right? And so it's through those contradictions that it's able to live. I think also, maybe it is only working for this window because maybe there'll be a backlash against it. Maybe there'll be something, but it's working. It's doing the thing that it needs to do.